Hi there. Today is Friday, February 5th, 2021, and I am here with another First Five Friday. The author that I am going to be reading to you today is named Jason Reynolds. Okay. And a couple things about Jason Reynolds. He has written a lot of books, and we have some of them in the library. Some of those that we have are When I Was the Greatest, All American Boys, Look Both Ways, As Brave as You, and Long Way Down. And the book that I'm going to be reading, the first five or so pages today, is The Boy in the Black Suit. And I also wanted to read to you a quote from Jason Reynolds. He said, I read tons of books, listen to music nonstop, watch as many movies as possible, catch a play when I can, art shows, concerts, bar talks. I just try to engage in art, which to me is everywhere as often as I can because narrative lives in it all. That's kind of cool. So here we go. First five or so pages, The Boy in the Black Suit, which we have in our library, by Jason Reynolds. And so when you write a book or if you illustrate a book, you get to dedicate it to whoever you like. And Jason Reynolds dedicated it for a couple people, for Aunt Bud and Uncle Calvin, and for Walter Dean Myers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so here we go. The Boy in the Black Suit by Jason Reynolds. Chapter 1. Everything is backward. It was the first day of school. Actually, it was the 19th day of school, but it was my first day, and all I could think about was how happy I was that I had already missed 3 weeks, and that this would be the last first day in this place I would ever have. Thank God. Don't get me wrong, I didn't hate school, I just wasn't really in the mood to be lugging books around or learning stuff that didn't really matter to me, or even worse, being around people that I didn't really matter to. I know. I sound like a prime candidate for black fingernails and emo poetry. But I guess that what I'm really trying to say is that I just wasn't feeling too social. Scratch that. I wasn't feeling social at all. Lockers slamming, sneakers screeching, and squeaking on the floor as every kind of teenager ran through the hallways, laughing and shouting on their way to class. It was like one big nail on an even bigger chalkboard. Everyone was zipping by, bumping me as I sort of floated through the halls like some kind of zombie. It was like I was living in a different world where everything was backward. Miss Harris, the principal, who normally spent most of her time hiding from students in her office, offered to actually walk me to my locker. Meanwhile, kids I was cool with, at least I thought I was cool with, like James Skinner, totally ignored me. See what I mean? Backward. The last time I saw James was during the summer when our whole class had to meet up at the school to have our senior pictures taken. Me and James joked about how much we hated taking photos and how our crazy moms were obsessed about the whole thing. I told him how my mother begged me to smile, but I knew I wouldn't. I couldn't. Not because I didn't want to, it's just that every time a camera pointed at me, I never knew what to do with my face. Some people can smile on cue. You say smile and they go ear to ear, flashing every tooth in their mouth. And some people can't. I was one of those. So I knew in my senior pictures I would look just like I did in my junior, sophomore, and freshman pictures, like a robot. Except this time, it would be a robot face and a cap and gown, which is even worse. The point is, I had just seen my so-called friend James had just joked about this corny senior picture crap with him, and now he was acting like he didn't even know me. I guess that's what happens when people find out that your mom just died. You become invisible. At least I did, to everybody. Well, almost everybody. Yo, Matt, I'm sorry about your mom's, man. Chris Hayes, my best friend, slid up behind me while I tried to stuff myself into my locker. He was one of those guys who was super cool, crazy fly, and girls had a thing for his shaved head. He'd probably be voted best dressed or something dumb like that. And if he wanted to, he'd have a fair shot at prom king. And to top it all off, he was really trying hard to be sympathetic to me, his pretty normal, now really sad homeboy. I appreciated it even though it did no good, but at least he had just enough heart to come up to me and say something instead of just avoiding me like death was some kind of disease, that anyone could catch it just by speaking to me. Everybody else was either staring at me or trying way too hard not to look at me at all. You know, Ms. Miller was like a second mom to me, and I'm so, so sorry I couldn't make the funeral, Chris went on. Well, I'm sorry you couldn't make it either. I'm sorry I had to sit there in that church, which, by the way, had a broken air conditioner, sweating, watching all those people march down the aisle to look at my mother's casket and whisper to themselves all this mess about how much she looked like herself, even though she didn't. I'm sorry you weren't there to hear the lame choir drag out song after song. I'm sorry you weren't there to see my dad try his best to be upbeat, cracking bad jokes in his speech, choking on his words. I'm sorry you weren't there to watch me totally lose it and explode into tears. I'm sorry you weren't there for me, but it doesn't matter. Even if you were, you wouldn't be able to feel what I feel. Nobody can. Even the preacher said so. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't because Chris didn't deserve all that. I knew he would have been there if he could have, but he just couldn't do it. I get that. So I turned around to look at him and said, "It's all good, man." I swallowed hard and reached out for a 5, holding back my tears. Do not cry. Not in school. Chris grabbed my hand and pulled me close for a man hug, and right at that moment, which was perfect with high school timing, Sean Bowman ran up behind Chris, slapped him on the ass, and rambled off some dumb joke, calling us gay or whatever. But of course, after Sean said that, the girl he was with, Michelle something, smacked him on the arm and sucked her teeth. She yanked Sean close and whispered in his ear. I could tell she told him my mom had just died because his face went from blue-black to, well, it stayed blue-black. But if it could have turned red, he would have been a walking stop sign. Chris had turned around and glared at Sean. He had his fist balled up, and I could tell he was mad. Hi, The Boy in the Black Suit by Jason Reynolds. If you'd like it to put on hold, please do so, and I will bring it to you. Lots of books by Jason Reynolds, lots of really great authors. Thanks.